Greetings, folks. Today is Friday, April the 5th, 2019. I'm Tom Lineweaver, and this is my commentary about Christian anarchy. First of all, I want to read you this definition of Christian anarchy from the Urban Dictionary. Christian anarchy, also known as Christian libertarianism, is the belief that the only source of authority in which Christians are ultimately answerable to God, embodied in the teachings of Jesus. Most are pacifist and feel that earthly authority, such as government or the Christian church, do not and should not have power over them. Leo Tolstoy is notable for having written extensively on his anarchist principles, which he arrived at via his Christian faith. Notably, his books, The Kingdom of God is Within You. Christian anarchy was the basis of the first true Christians. Sadly, human behavior cannot allow such peace to happen without a government. Then Wikipedia says, Christian anarchism is a movement in political theology that claims anarchism is inherent in Christianity and the Gospels. It is grounded in the belief that there is only one source of authority to which Christians are ultimately answerable. The authority of God is as embodied in the teachings of Jesus. It therefore rejects the idea that sorry about that, I had to cough. Anyway, where was I? Okay, the authority of God is embodied in the teachings of Jesus. It therefore rejects the idea that human governments have ultimate authority over human societies. Christian anarchists denounce the state, believing it is violent, deceitful, and when glorified, idolatrous. Christian anarchists hold that the reign of God is the proper expression of the relationship between God and humanity. Under the reign of God, human relationships would be characterized by divided authority, servant leadership, and universal compassion, not by the hierarchical authoritarian structures that are normally attributed to religious social order. Most Christian anarchists are pacifist. They reject war. They reject war. This is what happens when you get distracted while you're reading. They reject war and the use of violence. More than any other Bible source, the Sermon on the Mount is used as the basis for Christian anarchism. Leo Tolstoy's The Kingdom of God is Within You is often regarded as the key text for modern Christian anarchism. Okay, now that pretty much gives you a definition of Christian anarchy. Now, I guess to some that's like an oxymoron. But it really isn't. I've given this some thought for the last several days. And Christianity really is a good basis for anarchy. When you consider Jesus was a kind of character. I mean, when you think about it, he was an anarchist. He didn't speak very well about those in authority. Scribes and Pharisees and Sadducees. He didn't speak very well of them at all. But he was here to heal and to teach the kingdom of God. Now, what I have a problem with is the way Jesus was and the way people understand Romans 13. Jesus did not obey every governing authority. Not only did Jesus oppose governing authorities like the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the scribes, he also opposed the religious order of the time. Remember him throwing the money changers out of the temple? And this is a practice that's probably been going on for hundreds of years. And Jesus said, you're not doing this anymore. Get out of my Father's house. You're making it a den of thieves. And he had a whip, and he went after them with a whip. That doesn't sound like pacifism to you, does it? So, while some Christian anarchists claim to be pacifist, Jesus was not a pacifist. Far from it. But he was loving toward those who are oppressed. He was loving to those who had sicknesses and diseases. He healed many people. So, we see two sides of Jesus. One, we see a side that goes against the governing authorities, and two, we see a side, the same side goes against the religious authority of the day, but we also see a very loving, affectionate side of Jesus when he fed the 5,000, when he fed the 3,000, when he said to the woman at the well, neither do I condemn you, go and sin no more. I mean, he was loving toward the oppressed. But he was very judgmental toward the governing authorities and to the religious authorities of the day. Well, guess who else followed in those footsteps? A fella by the name of Tolstoy. Tolstoy was very definitely against the state and the church. And let me tell you, if you've followed me for a long time, you've heard me complain about the government, haven't you? You've heard me complain about the church, haven't you? So I guess I'm following the footsteps of Leo Tolstoy. Whenever you go outside of the authority of Christ, Matthew 28, I think verse 18, Jesus said that all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to him. And whenever you have any organization claiming to be our government, claiming to be the church, that goes against the authority of Christ, guess what? They are not Christians. And so, obviously, when you oppose the authority of the government and when you oppose the authority of the church, and they consider you anarchist, they think of you as somebody who's out to get them. Somebody who wants to throw bombs around and all that stuff. But the word anarchy simply means without rulers. That's all it means. It doesn't say we're going to throw bombs. It doesn't say we're going to protest everything that comes along. It doesn't say we're going to be violent. We just oppose the rulers. And anyway, so when you consider the fact that as a Christian, you should really believe in the authority of Christ. Period. He is the only authority we have to be concerned about. But let me tell you something. If you live under the authority of Christ, guess what? That's all you need. Chances are you're not going to violate any law of the government anyway. So, I'm getting to that point because of what I see our government doing and what I see the churches of America doing. Yes, I kind of agree with Christian anarchy. That the only authority we should be concerned about is that of Christ. Think about it. That's my commentary for today. Thank you for listening.